Hi there. Are you a US high schooler who's looking to go to college outside the United States? Well, if so, you've come to the right place. My name's Kristina Semos. I'm the owner and founder of Ivy Lounge Test Prep, and I'm going to share with you today the testing requirements for the SAT and ACT that you will need to apply to certain universities in England. Are you ready? Because I am. Okay, let's talk about the first one, which is the University of Oxford. Okay, so this is a very prestigious university in England. Obviously, it's in Oxford, England. I've been there, it's really pretty. So I actually emailed with their admission staff and I got an email response back and it clarified that, and this is literally, I'm quoting the email that they sent me. Students from the USA do not necessarily need to have an SAT or ACT score to meet the admissions requirements. However, if you wish to apply without an SAT or ACT score, you will need at least 4 AP exams at grade 5. In other words, you got a 5, that's like a perfect score on all 4 of them, including any subjects required for the course you wish to apply to meet the requirements. Like if you want to do, say, engineering, there probably is going to be like a math requirement. So like one of them would have to be one of the calcs. That's what that means. Okay. Now, they also say you can also apply with an SAT or ACT score alongside at least 3 APs at grade 5. The score you would need varies depending on the admission requirement for the course you wish to take. So please do check out our course web pages to see the score you would need to meet the qualification requirements. Okay, so let's recap what we just read and what their website says. So basically, you need 4 AP exams and you need a score of 5 on all 4 of them. Or you need 3 AP exams with a score of 5 and an SAT or ACT test score. Okay. Keep in mind, you're applying sometime during your senior year, which probably means that you're not finished with your senior year APs if you're taking AP senior year, and those tests would be happening, in May. So these would need to happen basically by the end of your junior year, okay? Just for planning purposes. So now they talk about all of this course requirements, like depending on your course of study. And this is basically what's happening. We have either A asterisk A asterisk A, that's like the highest level of course of study. They have something called A asterisk AA, and then they have AAA. And basically it's like hardest, harder, hard. Okay. And so I will show you a page, but this is the gist. If you are doing that higher one, the one with all the asterisks, then you would want at least a 1480 on your SAT or at least a 33 composite on your ACT. If you're doing that middle one, the one with only one asterisk in there, you would want a 1470 plus on the SAT or an ACT 32 composite or better. And then if you're doing the just triple A, no asterisks, then it would be a 1460 plus on the SAT or a 31 composite on the ACT. Keep in mind, no super scoring for these, no score choice, no essay. So you would have to actually get that, whatever it is, the 1480, the 33 in a single sitting. And you would have to send all of your test scores that you ever took to them. So I'm going to share with you so you see exactly what I'm talking about with the A's and the asterisks, okay? Okay, so this is the undergraduate admissions page for Oxford and specifically for international students and the qualifications. I scrolled all the way down, right? It has every country you could be possibly applying from. I got to U for USA, and this is what I'm talking about. So for courses requiring, and this is the hardest one that I mentioned, the A asterisk A asterisk A, and it says here, right? 4 APs at grade 5, including any subjects required for the course you're applying to, or you can do 3 APs at grade 5, but then you need a test score, and then you'd have that 33 minimum for the ACT or the 1480 minimum for the SAT. And it does say we don't require the essay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it goes into some specifics here about like, hey, if I take two physics, can it count as two separate things? And it breaks that down. It tells you about like Calc A, B, and BC. Nope, you can only take one of the calculus AP exams as one of your required APs, etc. So now this is the next one. This is the middle one that I was talking about, the one with only one asterisk. So it's A asterisk AA. So again, four APs at grade 5 or three APs at grade 5 plus minimum 32 on the ACT or minimum 1470 on the SAT. And same things, it talks about specific AP requirements. And then this was the last of the three. So just AAA, no asterisks. Again, for APs at grade 5 or three APs at grade 5 plus a 31 minimum on the ACT or a 1460 minimum on the SAT. And then over here, super scoring. Okay, it tells you right here that everything like must be from the same session. We will not consider scores for multiple sessions super scoring. This also applies for the ACT. Got it. So they don't super score for either test. And they also say, yeah, candidates are asked to enter all their scores for any tests taken. This gives tutors a complete picture of the academic record rather than just a super score. Well, they don't super score. And they're saying here they don't do score choice. They want to see it all. So now, how do you figure out which one of those weird, like A level things, the A asterisk, A, right? All of those three, your course of study might be. So there is the course webpage, right? So here we have basically all the different course listings, right? And so you're going to pick one and it will tell you. I'm just going to pick a couple. Let's look at chemistry. Okay, so this one is, see, it tells you right here, entrance requirement. So it's the one with all the asterisks. So that's the highest of those three that we talked about. Got it? And then it tells you subject requirements. So again, if you want to study chemistry and you'll want to study it at the University of Oxford, then the required subjects are chemistry and maths. That's the British way of saying math, right? So you're going to need to do the AP chemistry test and you're going to need to do one of the AP like calculus tests, right? And then again, a third one, and then of course your SAT or ACT test score. Or you'll need to do the chemistry, you'll need to do a math, and then two others, and then get fives on all of them. And then you could, forego doing the SAT or ACT. Got it? I'm just going to do like one more. So let's do something maybe more humanities. How about like history and politics? So if I were going to study that, okay, that one would be the triple A, but no asterisk. So that would have been the lower one that we talked about, which was the 1460 plus on the SAT or the 31 plus composite on the ACT. Okay, so that is basically how you figure out what the requirements are, depending on what you want to study at the University of Oxford, and then what those actual minimum SAT, ACT scores are. So happy testing for University of Oxford. So hi there. If we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Kristina. I'm the owner and founder of Ivy Lounge Test Prep, and for the last 15 years, I have helped high schoolers all over the globe drastically raise their SAT and ACT test scores and ultimately gain acceptance at their dream colleges. So I have a question for you right now, and that is, are you thinking of applying to a college or university that is outside the United States? And if so, tell me which ones and maybe why. So please write them in the comments below. I read all my comments and I love to hear what you're thinking. And while you're at it, just go ahead and like this video and also just subscribe to my channel. And then that way you will be the first to know every week when I give you the latest in SAT, ACT, and college application essay updates. The next one we're going to talk about is the University of Cambridge, which I'm sorry, I like love the town of Cambridge, and yeah, it reminds me of very happy times. So when I was studying at Brown University, I spent my junior year abroad in Bologna, the University of Bologna, and one of my best friends was doing her year abroad at the University of Cambridge. So I visited many times. I loved punting down the river. Like it was such a fantastic experience. Like I was so jealous of her Cambridge experience. Anyway, highly recommend. So now we're going to talk about the testing requirements if you are an American high schooler wanting to apply to the University of Cambridge. So here's the long and short of it. So the University of Cambridge, which is in England, they're going to base their requirements on what they call A levels and international baccalaureate, right? So a lot of American high schoolers, though, they definitely don't do A levels, and maybe a handful of you might potentially be in an IB program, but most of you are not, right? So, in case you don't have access to IB or you're not in a place that does A levels, then they list, like, there's a whole page, and I'm going to show it to you, a ton of other qualifications that are like equivalents. Like, okay, if you can't do IB, then you could do this. So, I'm going to show you what those are. But in general, for American students, what this is going to come down to, again, AP exams and scores, and then SAT and ACT test scores. So, in general, what I have seen, and I will show you in just a second, for Cambridge, you will need 5 AP exams with scores of 5 plus an ACT or an SAT test score. Okay, so this is the entry requirements for University of Cambridge for undergraduate study. Over here in applying, and on the side, it's like entry requirements, and this is the qualifications we accept. Okay, so we mostly refer to A levels and the International Baccalaureate for our requirements. But again, especially if you're coming from a place like the United States, you probably don't do those. So we also welcome applications from applicants taking other qualifications. So basically, I went through these, and the ones that are going to apply to you the most are right here, advanced placement, and then ACTs, and then over here, SATs. You're definitely not doing an Irish leaving certificate. Got it? Like a lot of these are very other country specific. Okay. So I went to APs first. And then it tells us, right? So we require a minimum of 5 AP test scores of 5. Usually, these need to have been taken within a 2-year period and with your most recent test results achieved within the 2 years of starting your course. You should take APs in subjects that are particularly relevant to the course you're applying for. So, again, it all depends on what you plan to study at Cambridge, right? You don't have to have completed a minimum of 5 AP courses to meet the requirement, as an AP test can be sat without completing the relevant AP course. What they're telling you there is you don't have, like, say your high school doesn't offer 5 AP classes that you even get to take. That's okay. You can learn it on your own and just sit for the exam. You don't have to take an AP class to sit for and get a 5 on the exam. Cool. Um, and then let's see, advice on how to study for and take this. Okay, it's available there. And so, in addition to AP tests, we usually expect you to have high passing marks on your school qualification, like, the relevant US high school diploma, and a high score on the SAT test or ACT. And so, see SATs and ACT drop downs on this page for more information. Right. And you're here, it's basically saying that you have to tell us about every time you took the test, including retakes. And if you do not tell us about any of the ones that you've taken, it may disadvantage your application. We reserve the right to contact ACT College Board or your school to confirm results. Okay, so no score choice, right? So now I'm going to go down and I'm going to show you these SAT and ACT requirements since it works in conjunction with the APs. So over here, ACTs, and they say right here, ACTs alone are not considered. They must, for entry, they must be accompanied by other qualifications. So here, if you've taken advanced placement examinations or equivalent qualifications alongside your ACTs, you will normally be expected to have an ACT composite score of, and check it out. So at least a 33 composite for economics and most science courses. So they list a lot of them here: chemical engineering and biotech, computer science, engineering, math, medicine, natural science, psychological and behavioral sciences, and veterinary medicine, and a 32 plus for all other courses. So again, you're required to inform us of all tests taken and scores achieved, including retakes. So no score choice, right? So basically what this is saying is ACTs alone won't get you into Cambridge. You have to have done the advanced placement examinations or equivalent, but if you're in the US and you don't have access to International Baccalaureate, AP is your ticket, basically, right? So if you're going to be doing econ or most sciences, you're going to want to have a 33 plus composite, like this is a minimum. And if you're doing other things, they want a 32 plus composite. So that's ACT. Now let's check out SATs. So this one's a little more specific, okay? So when you have taken advanced placement examinations or equivalents alongside your SATs, you will need to have a minimum combined score of 1500 with a math section score of at least 750 for the following courses. So most sciences and econ, the same ones really we were just mentioning when we were talking about the ACT. So again, chemical engineering and biotech, comp sci, engineering, math, medicine, natural sciences, psych and behavioral sciences, and veterinary medicine or econ. So again, it was 1500 plus, but specifically the math needed to be 750 plus. Now, for all other courses, you'll need at least a 1460, and your reading writing needs to be at least a 730. So here the reading writing could be over half of your 1460, right? That's the thing that they care about more here. Let's see. Yes, again, no score choice. You need to tell us about every test that you take of the SAT. Okay, so those are the specific SAT and ACT requirements at the University of Cambridge. Just to recap, they still want you to do AP exams, right? Specifically 5 of them with a score of 5. Plus, you're going to want a high SAT or ACT test score. If you're doing econ or the sciences, then we're looking at least a 33 on the ACT or at least a 1500 on that SAT with your math at least a 750. If you are doing something not that, so like humanities, languages, blah, 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 then we're talking a 32 plus composite on the ACT or a 1460 plus on the SAT, but your reading writing needs to be at least a 730. Okay. Now, you will probably need to contact the specific college at Cambridge that you want to apply to just to verify, like, are these the only things I need to do? Like this many APs and my SAT or my ACT. They will tell you if you need to do anything else. They might, and also depending on your course of study, they will tell you like, oh yeah, those 5 AP exams, but one of them needs to be this and one of them needs to be that. Like they'll tell you if there's specific ones you need to take and get the 5 on. Okay. So again, no super score, no score choice. So you're going to need to know what you're going to study at what college within the University of Cambridge. Make sure to contact them to just verify. But in essence, it's 5 APs and a minimum SAT or ACT requirement. So that is the University of Cambridge. So the third college in England that we are going to discuss today is going to be the Imperial College of London. And I have some good news for you with this one, and I will share my screen in just a second. But for this specific college, there is actually no SAT or ACT requirement if you are a US high schooler applying for undergraduate. Yay, right? Okay, but let's talk about what they do require. Okay, so for Imperial, over here we have the entry requirements and accepted qualifications. Um, So we're going to find our country. Again, USA is at the very bottom because it's you. Here. So advanced placement. So this is what they're going to require of you. So a minimum of 3 to 4 AP tests with grades of 5. And they tell you, see course pages for the required subjects. These are expected to be taken alongside a relevant high school diploma. Okay, where sat independently, departments will seek additional AP tests 4 through 6. Where taken in conjunction with other qualifications, departments will seek the required standards in all qualifications presented. Okay, so if it seems that if you're only submitting AP tests, then it could be that the department that you might be applying for may require some more. But it appears that it's a minimum of 3 to 4. And again, that's a minimum. And they want you to score a 5, right? That's the highest score on the AP exam. They want you to score fives on at least 3 or 4 of them. Okay, cool. So worldwide, so this includes US. If you are in an IB program, International Baccalaureate, then that could be what they accept. And so then for you, it'd be an overall scores of 38 to 42 with scores of 6 to 7 in relevant subjects at higher levels. Okay. So basically, like if you're in an IB curriculum, you know that. If you don't know what that is or that's not your high school, then you're doing advanced placement. Okay. So now you might be wondering, like, okay, a lot of this is so dependent on my course of study. How do I like find that out? So here's an example I will show you. Okay. So on Imperial's page, where they literally, these are the courses, right? You're going to put in what you want to study. So we're looking at undergraduate. And okay, we have a drop down. We could also just type something in here. But what do I want to look at? I'm going to look at, oh, all these things. How about ecological and environmental sciences? That looks cool. Let's do that one. And then start year, sure. I'm going to do that one. Okay. So, okay, here are all sorts of things. Which one do I want to study? These are all Bachelor of Sciences. I'm going to do, oh, that's nice. A guy carrying plants. I like this one. I'm going to just, for the sake of example, show you this one. They tell you applications open. Okay. And then let's see. We want entry requirements right here. So they tell you, so A levels. So again, not you, IB, sure, but you would know if that's your school, and very few of them are. Other qualifications. So this is what we are going to want. So we're not in the UK, we're international. So we're selecting, and look, a lot of them are very country specific. And we look, ACT isn't even on here. We look, SAT isn't even on here. See, it's missing. So what are we doing? We are doing, as I showed you, advanced placement, which is up here. So here is what they want for this specific course of study that I randomly selected. So our minimum entry is 555 overall. So we want 5 in biology, a 5 in chemistry, physics, 1, 2, or C, or calculus, and then 5 in another subject, but excluding art, music, and languages other than English. Okay, so if you are studying additional high school qualifications alongside AP, requirements may apply to both sets of qualifications. So basically, again, you're probably going to, they always say you can check with the relevant admissions team for confirmation. Every one of these schools, you're going to be talking to the specific college for the specific course you're going to study to just double check that this is what they want. But it seems they tell you, like, advanced placement is what they want. And they tell you we need the 5 in the bio. You get a choice, 5 in one of these guys, and then 5 in something else, but not these. Okay. So it's really that easy. You can pick the course, see the requirements, but you're basically taking AP exams and no SAT or ACT for Imperial. So now let's talk about our fourth school in the great country of England, which is the London School of Economics and Political Science, or LSE. Okay, so here we have the London School of Economics and Political Science, and this is their international students, country pages specifically for people applying from the United States of America. right? That's you. So we come over here and we are looking for undergraduate entry requirements right here. And so they have equivalency of the AP tests with GCEA levels. So you're not doing GCEA levels, but they basically tell you. So if the course of study, right? So it depends on like what course of study, again, you want to study. If the A level requirement is the A asterisk AA or the AAA, then this is what you would need. You would need 5 APs at grade 5, and you would need a minimum of a 3.7 GPA. And then of course, as they always do, subjects may be specified as part of an offer. See the note about subject combinations. What that means is, depending on your course of study, they might say you could do this, or you could do this and this. They give you different combinations of requirements. So over here, if this is the A level equivalent, it's AAB, then what they're going to want are 3 APs at grade 5, 2 APs at grade 4, and then again, a minimum GPA of 3.7. Subject combinations. Okay, so they tell you that AP seminars, AP capstones, AP research do not count towards the requirement. Only you can only use Calc AB or Calc BC, not both. And declaration of AP results. And then they literally say SAT and ACT. SAT reasoning test does not form any part of entry requirement for LSE programs. And then the ACT does not form any part of entry requirements for LSE programs. So students applying from an American university, they tell us here, you should have a minimum GPA of 3.5 or above 4.0 on a 5 scale with a minimum average of 80% overall. Okay. And then, yes. So basically, this is what's up, is you're going to need to know which level the course of study that you want to do is. And then depending on that, it seems you still need a 3.7 GPA for everything. The difference here is that for the higher two, you're going to need 5 AP exams with grade 5. And for this one over here, you still have to do 5 AP exams, but you only have to get a score of 5 on 3 of them, and you can get 4s on the other 2. So that, my friends, was LSE, or the London School of Economics and Political Science. Cruising right along, we have 2 more exciting colleges and universities in England that you may want to add to your college list. The next one is the University College London, or UCL. Awesome. So this is the international students page that tells you, and specifically the USA page. So, okay, this is lovely. Yes, are you a brave thinker? Okay, so this is us. So we're going to scroll down on this page and aha, undergraduate entry requirements. So for students domiciled in the US, one of the following will be considered. So if you currently live in the US, these are your requirements. So you could either do between 3 to 5 AP subjects, see specific requirements below taken in the final 3 years of high school. So 3 to 5 APs. Or you could do between 2 to 4 AP subjects plus the SAT or ACT. Again, see the specific requirements. Okay. And the successful completion of 1 year of study at a recognized US university, community college. Okay, got it. So basically, if you aren't in high school, you completed a full year of study at a college or a community college or a junior college, and you have a certain GPA, then that could be your requirement. But if you're in high school, which you probably are, if you're watching me and my channel, then basically your options are 3 to 5 APs or fewer APs, only 2 to 4, but then you need to have an SAT or an ACT score as well. But here's what they do. They actually go ahead and they break it down for you, right? So again, these are the advanced placement requirements. So they have, here are all the A levels, right? All the different like hardest to, I mean, not easiest, but you know what I mean, like more stringent requirements up here to the bottom ones and what you would need. Okay. So it literally tells you what you would need. And so this one is if you're only doing APs, then you literally need five fives, is what this is saying. If you're doing AP plus SAT, it would be four fives, and then it would be at least a 1400 on the SAT. If you're doing AP plus ACT, it tells you you would need four different score, like different exams where you got a five on them, and then you would need at least a 32. Okay. So it literally does this for all the various levels of criteria. So now you're probably wondering, that's cool, but like, how do I know if the thing I want to study is like this one or like this one? Right. Right here, it says you can find individual entry requirements for each course here. So you can literally click here and then you can see the course and it'll tell you like which one of these it is. Now, it does have a few of them that they list here. And it says these programs will consider the combination of AP exams, SAT, and ACT scores and high school diploma as an alternative to the above requirement. So some of them, they give you an alternative. And it's like, okay, cool. I want a Bachelor of Science in Econ. It will allow you to get a five on three different AP exams, which includes a five in Calc BC plus a 1280 on the SAT or a composite of 29 on the ACT. And you have to have a GPA of at least 3.8. So if you're one of these, there's an alternative over here. Otherwise, you are going to be figuring out like your course of study and which A level equivalency it is. And then you're just going to either choose, okay, I'm going to do all APs or I'm going to do AP plus SAT. So fewer APs, but then an SAT, or fewer APs and then an ACT. So that is University College London. And finally, the sixth of our six schools we're going to talk about today is King's College London, which is in obviously England. Again, with all of these schools, there's this whole bit about figuring out like the required A level that the thing you want to study, the course of study you want to do is. And then based on what that is, and it's those A's with the asterisks, or maybe it's A's and B's, like that's the A level equivalent, then you're going to have different requirements. So this is kind of what we've been seeing in a lot of these schools. Now, in general, King's College is going to either do like five APs, and then the score requirements will vary based on the course of study that you want to do and what its A level equivalent is. Or, so five APs or three APs and an SAT or ACT. And again, the scores and then those minimums will be based on your course of studies A level equivalent. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this is King's College London, and this is the undergraduate area, and you can search for whatever course you want to study. And they don't give you a drop down menu. So I'm just going to pick something like chemistry. Why not? Find courses. Okay. How about, oh, let's do biochemistry. That one looks cool. Okay. So do you see, once we get to this page, it has key information on the right side and it said required A level. And this is the one where it's just AAA, no asterisks. And so full entry requirements, including contextual requirements. Okay, now check it out. So I went to a page. This is over here, King's College London, blah, blah, undergraduate, how to apply entry requirements. And if you scroll all the way down to section 10, it's advanced placement, ACT, and SATs. Okay, so this is where it tells you based on the A level equivalent, right? The A's with the asterisks and whatnot, what exactly you need. And there are two options, two routes, as they're talking about. There's one where you do only APs, right? And then in this case, they tell you like the most difficult one here, the one with all the asterisks, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 in five APs. So literally five APs and you get fives in all of them. Or your option over here is you get a 5 in three different APs, right? One, two, three. And then you get a choice, a 31 on the ACT or a 1440 in math, with at minimum a 620 in math and a 650 in reading writing, right? So this is how you read this chart. Now, the one that I just looked at, biochemistry, that was over here. That was an AAA without the asterisks. So for that one, again, one of my options is I just take 5 APs. I could get fives in three of them and fours in the other two, or I could get fives in three of them, and then either an ACT of 28 or a 1380 on the SAT with a minimum of 600 in math and a 640 in reading writing. So does that make sense? And then so it shows you. So basically, all the way down to whatever a CCC is, I have no idea what that is, or what course of study that would be a CCC. But you still have to do 5 APs, just lower scores in them, or 3 APs and either the ACT or SAT. Okay. So again, this page right here was the undergraduate entry requirements. And again, you figure out, you go to your course of study, and the key information on the side will tell you your required A level. And obviously, you're not doing A level, so you'll need the equivalent of that in APs and SATs. Also of note, on their website, it said that they do not superscore for the ACT. That is basically what you're going to have to do if King's College in London is on your list. So again, these are the SAT and ACT, and it appears AP requirements specifications for 6 of the most popular universities in England to which you could apply as an American high schooler. So I hope you found this helpful. If you are looking for some other options, maybe in some other countries, I actually did a really cool video on Canadian university testing requirements. Check it out, link below.